everybody, what's up? My name is Sydney. Welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about what the title says. It's not clickbait. I do indeed have some benign tumors. So I wanted to take this opportunity to talk about fibroadenomas and what they are and how it could impact your life and how I found mine and how I found out about it. And I also wanted to take the opportunity to talk about my first time at the gynecologist. I think it's something that I can use this opportunity to talk about it and help educate people. So that's why I'm not going to be using any of the direct terminology or anything. So yeah, if you're curious about all that and you want to know about my fibroadenomas and my visit to the gynecologist, then keep watching. It's recommended that when you're 18 or when you start becoming sexually active, you start going to the gynecologist. Well, I am not sexually active and I never have been. It's not something that I'm going to go into right now, but it's something that is important to know just as a general rule and a general fact, because it does play a role in my gynecologist appointment itself. If that's you and you're in the same boat, then cool, jump on board. I was honestly scared, so that's why I really didn't go. And then when you're 21, it's recommended that you start getting a pap smear. So then when I turned 21 and I realized that when I went I would probably have to have this done, it really didn't appeal to me to go, because in December I made a video that talked about how I was ready to make a change in my life and how I wanted to start taking better care of myself, and one of those goals that I had for myself was going to the gynecologist as a woman to make sure that I'm taking care of myself in the best way possible. For myself, really happy that I waited to go until now, because I had to decide it for myself. I waited, but I mean, obviously if you're a girl of the age who's younger than I am now and you're sexually active, well, if you're comfortable enough to be sexually active, then frankly you should be comfortable enough to go to the gynecologist and make sure that you're healthy, really, truly. Not having had anybody be intimate with me or like any part of my body, I really wanted a female because I was afraid that I would be even more afraid. And, you know, females, I mean, we all have the same parts, so we all understand each other a little bit better, and I felt like I could talk about my concerns a little bit more openly with a woman, me personally. Not to say that male gynecologists aren't any less or more qualified than females. It was just about my comfort level, and that's really how you should be picking your gynecologist as well. Another thing that I did before I went is I went and actually scoped out the place and found it, because I knew that it was going to be in a hospital nearby, but I didn't know where, and that added to my nerves a little bit more. I felt really good about it, and going in the next day when I actually had my appointment, I felt a lot more comfortable just knowing that I already knew what I was getting myself into. So you go in and they have you verify all of your information, and then I sat in the waiting room for probably 10 or 15 minutes, not too long, but I was nervous, so it felt like a little bit longer than what it actually was. And then the nurse came back and took me back to the back, and it's a lot of bags. And she took my weight and my height, and she took my blood pressure, and just, you know, checking your vitals and things to make sure everything's where it needs to be. And then she asked me questions about whether I was sexually active, if I had ever been sexually active, if I had any problems with my periods, if like I had any weird symptoms associated with them, if I had any concerns about my breasts, things like that. So I answered all those questions, and I explained to her about my disability and how I have my missing kidney, and how actually when I was an infant they had done I don't know, just kind of like a general check about my pelvic region. I don't know if they like just patted it or what they did exactly, but I had been told that it was fine, because that's what my parents had been told, but I knew from experience and having gone through my disability my whole life that there was a good chance that it probably wasn't the same anymore, or if it was the same, nobody caught it in the beginning. So I wanted to make sure that everything was in line with that, and I knew what I was basically up against. So then after that, she left and told me to just hang tight, sit in the chair. The gynecologist would be in to talk to me in a few minutes. And the gynecologist came in and basically reviewed just the questions that the nurse had already asked me, and asked if I had any other concerns, and I told her that I was worried that my boobs were a little bit lumpier than they needed to be, but I wasn't totally sure because, like I've explicitly stated before, my breasts are really small. I wear a AA cup and a 32 band, but I should probably be a 30 if I'm really being honest with myself. So I wasn't sure if these were like mammary glands or what was going on, if I could just feel them more because they are smaller, but I definitely wanted to get it checked out by somebody who knew what was going on. She said that was cool, they would do that, and she told me what they would do. They would start with my breast exam, and then they would go and do my pap smear since I am 23, so it's way above 21. And then she said she was just going to do a general pelvic exam after that, and then and then discuss what her findings were, and if I needed anything else, she would help me out with that. She gave me a gown and a sheet and told me to put the gown on and then put the sheet over your lap. I think it's this so to cover you up, but I think it's really so that you don't see as much of your goods hanging out and all that they're doing down there, because they'll walk you through it, but it can be kind of traumatizing, I'm sure, to see them like actually putting the stuff in you. Like I would lose my mind, I think. So I got dressed and I sat up on the table, and the table is kind of like a normal doctor's bed table thing. I really don't know what that's called, but the end of it is almost in like a U shape, so that where the U would come out, they would be able to sit in that area, because obviously they have to be able to reach you. And then on the outside of the U shape is where they pull the stirrups out so that your legs are on either side of their body, I guess is basically how it would be, so that they can reach it and your legs are in the way and you're comfortable and all that fun stuff. Walk you through everything, and they tell you exactly what they're gonna do, so that basically like your butt's off the edge of the table, but your tailbone isn't. So like they can have easy access to it, but you're not gonna fall off the table. They make sure that you're not gonna fall before they do anything, and then they help you put your feet in the little stirrups, which I always kind of thought maybe like your whole foot went in it, but really it's just like a little rest for the back end of your heel and a little bit up the ball of your foot. Your legs aren't far enough apart. They'll ask you to spread them a little bit wider so that they can have better access, which actually helps you in turn. And it's really important to not feel embarrassed about it, because your vagina is not the only vagina they've ever seen in their lives, and it's not the last one they're gonna see either. I promise somebody's vagina is like way worse than yours. So just take comfort in that fact and know that this is literally their job. Like, they're there to help you take care of yourself. So don't worry about your downstairs and what it's looking like, because they're there to check the inside and the outside and everything, and they'll let you know if it's abnormal. So you don't have to worry about it. Now they give you a pillow for your head, and she told me she told me when she put her hand on my thigh, just so that I knew like that she was there, I guess. And because I couldn't see anything with the sheet, they had it over my legs, so I couldn't see anything. I couldn't even see her head. So she told me that it was there, and then she told me that I was gonna feel some pressure, and I did. I did a lot. It hurt me a lot. And I don't want to say that to scare people off or anything like that, but I don't want to lie and say that it was just a little bit uncomfortable. I was near yelling. Like I hurt a lot. But also you have to keep in mind that my frame is really really small. The other problem is that I physically cannot reach all the way down there. Like nothing was in there. So she was, I mean, yeah, it was exactly what you would think. It was just really, really tight, and I'm really small, so it just hurt, and it's to be expected, but honestly, I didn't quite expect it to hurt as much as it did. And but again, you're not going to probably have that experience because most people have bigger hips than 22 at 23 years old, and you have a little bit more body mass than I do, so you're not poking around at all your bones and organs and stuff. When she did the pap smear, I was able to feel it. It didn't really hurt at all. It felt a little bit like if you would take a little spoolie brush, like a little mascara brush or something like that, and kind of swab the inside of your cheek with it. That's how it felt, to me at least. It didn't hurt at all. They used the smallest tools available, so that made me feel better, but also kind of not, because like if that hurt, I don't want to think about what other stuff would feel like if it had been the normal size equipment. So she did that as quickly as she could, and she took it out, and then she did the general pelvic exam. I don't know if she put 1 or 2 fingers inside. They are literally just feeling, make sure you don't have any cysts or any like cancerous tumor type things happening, and make sure that all of your organs and everything are right and they can feel them all. And she told me, especially with me and my body size, that she could really feel them all. So that didn't take too long either. That part was more just uncomfortable. It didn't hurt as much as the other metal equipment did. So yeah, and then she was done. So what they do for your breast exam is you have to put your, oh Jesus Pete almighty, you have to put your hand behind your head so that it stretches your breast tissue up and out, and that they can feel stuff better. I can't believe I actually hit that. And so you have to do it like that on both sides, and they pull your gown off, and they do that one at a time. It shouldn't be weird. Like, your boobies are not the first boobies or the only boobies that they've ever touched. So the only person who's feeling uncomfortable right now is you. So it's only going to be as comfortable or uncomfortable as you make it out to be. So she was all done. They had me sit up, and I was like all like, yay, I was done. And they told me how good I did, even though I sucked bad. And they told me that what they think I have are a bunch of benign tumors on my boobies. So they decided that I have these fibroadenomas, which are just basically condensed breast tissue that turn into a mass. The difference between these and cancerous tumors are that cancerous tumors kind of cling to the inside of your skin or your body or wherever they attach to, because they're aggressive like that. But benign fibroadenomas are easy to move, and they basically have like a flat, smooth surface to them. So mine, she said, were easy to move, and they also had a flat surface to them. What concerned my gynecologist about my fibroadenomas was that I had so many of them. From what she could feel, I have about 4 in each breast, and on my left breast I have one that's quite a bit larger than the other ones, and from the research that I've done, I think that 99% positive that it's a giant fibroadenoma, meaning it's giant in its size. So fibroadenomas are normally about 1 inch wide or long. They're normally like square, so they're pretty much the same on either side that you measure them on. But mine were 5 centimeters or 2 inches, which is huge for fibroadenomas, which is why they're called giant fibroadenomas. I don't know about any of the other ones. That one's just the prominent one. You can kind of see it when I wear bikinis and things like that. You can see it outside of the skin. It's actually so close to the surface that she asked me what it was, if it was a pacemaker or something. I said, nope, I don't know what it is. So I have to get an ultrasound on those to make sure that they're not cancerous, and if they can determine that they are for sure fibroadenomas with that, then they just have to monitor them. If they have any kind of question about whether they're benign or not, benign meaning non-cancerous for younger kids who don't know what that means, then they will try to biopsy it. But for me personally, they make me feel weird that I have so many of them, and I can feel them and they feel really weird, and I don't want them. So you can opt to have surgery to just have them removed, because if you don't have them removed, they're going to monitor them for the rest of your life. And I figured if I have them removed now while I'm younger, if I ever get them when I get older or my body changes or anything like that, I'll be able to tell what's abnormal, because I won't have so many to be able to not know what's going on. She found out that while she was doing my pelvic exam, she said that she could only feel the left half of my uterus. So that means that I have a unicornate uterus. So basically, there's a couple ways it could go. It could be that it's there but not functional, or that it's not there, or it's doing some kind of weird thing. I don't know. It's congenital, so I've had it my whole life. Just didn't know about it. Had a gut feeling, but didn't know for sure. And so I have to have an ultrasound done on that to make sure that everything's okay with it, and to make sure that that's actually what it is and not something else going on. There's been a lot of stuff going on, and I appreciate your patience, and I'm really sorry that I haven't been uploading, but I've had a lot going on, a lot of good stuff and a lot of kind of uncertain stuff. But yeah. If you guys liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Comment down below if you had a similar experience, or if you're scared, or if this helped you a little bit, because that'll help me know that I'm helping you. And if you have more questions, like, feel free to comment them down below, or send me a direct message, or contact me on Instagram or something, because I'd be more than happy to talk about it. That's my main goal, is that people learn from this and are educated, and that young girls feel comfortable talking about it, because I really think that it really is important to talk about it and not have a weird stigma around it. So yeah, thanks everybody for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!